Hello and welcome to Getting to Good Enough, a podcast to help you let go of perfectionism so you can do more of what you love. I'm Shannon Wilkinson, a life coach in Portland, Oregon. I'm a recovering perfectionist who's getting better at good enough.
And I'm Janine Adams, a certified professional organizer in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm lucky enough to be naturally good at good enough.
And today we're talking about doing a mid-year refresh. Hey Janine.
Hey Shannon, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I'm good. It's crazy to think that we're in the second half of the year, because the first half of the year feels like it was 4 years long. But it's just
at a minimum.
Right. Yeah, it's such a strange year. But here we are, ready to talk about a mid-year refresh.
Yeah,
and or refresh, not refresh.
Refresh. I know. As I said that, I'm like, wait, did I have the emphasis on the wrong syllable? Oh, that's an old joke from college. I can't believe that just popped out of my mouth.
I could tell it wasn't the first time you told that joke because of the way it came out so easily.
Yeah. Oh, geez. But what I was going to say is that, the first half of 2020 felt like a million years long. And also, how is it already July?
Right. Yeah. It's strange.
I often have that sense of, sort of shifting perceptions of passing of time. But this has been really the most dramatic on both sides of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And something about the change in seasons happening while I'm not going outside anyway, much. I feel like I can't even figure out what time of year it is. It finally got super hot in St. Louis, so now I know what time of year it is. But yeah, it's really something. And yesterday I sat down with my goals that I set in January after having ignored them for 6 months.
Right.
It was such an interesting little exercise.
Yeah, how was that?
Well, I was surprised when I looked at the goals to see that turns out I had 7 goals, and 4 of them I was well on my way to accomplishing. No thanks to any intention. Never mind that my word of the year was intention. I guess I set the intention and then I didn't need to follow through with action and yet, intentional action. And yet I managed to accomplish them, or at least set them into motion in a satisfactory way. So that was nice to see.
Yeah, well, and I don't know how that happens, but I've had that happen more times than one, where you write something down and then at some point in the future you read it again, and like having had no recollection of writing it down, right. Usually in my case.
Right.
And it's like, oh wait, I did everything on here.
Yeah. Well, and I think the fact that writing it down, or putting your thoughts into cogent enough form that you can write it down, in and of itself helps set an intention and helps set a ball rolling, even if you're not tending to it necessarily.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And for me anyway, because my goals tended to be things that required creating the time or making the time to do them. That was the challenge, because I was so busy with my clients, right?
Right.
So to find time to do this stuff felt really challenging. And then suddenly I wasn't busy with clients, and so I had all this time, and that's I think why I was able to, make progress. Like one of them was daily yoga. Boom. Thanks to the pandemic, I could do daily yoga, and so. Another was create or get out of debt by the end of the year. Totally on track for that for my business. So, and part of that was that I was able to spent a lot of time with my finances and with YNAB and with QuickBooks.
Right.
And I'm not spending as much money on my business. So I don't have as many expenses. So anyway, it was a really affirming exercise because if you had asked me Saturday, how do you think you did on your goals? I'd be like, what goals? I knew I did them because I spent a lot of time creating them. But I would not have realized that I'd done as well as I did. And then I was able to set some, I did sort of set new goals. I didn't add any goals, but I set plan for achieving the ones that weren't on track. So it allowed me
you've found that you wanted to keep those goals that you had set at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, in this case, yes. And that hasn't always been the case. But yeah, in this case, yes. And it allowed me to rephrase them or just, I guess, reprioritize them a little bit so that I have more of a chance of achieving them than I would have had if I hadn't sat down with my Power Sheets notebook from beginning of the year or the end of last year.
Yeah. It's nice to like have the space to be able to do that. And I don't know, it seems great to have the opportunity to refresh them or, just revisit them and see where you're at and where, if it still makes sense and if it does, then how can you go about reaching that? And who knows, maybe you won't look at it another 6 months and they will all be done.
Right. Maybe. And also, I think it's an opportunity, especially this year, for people who have goals that are more related to leaving the house, unlike me. You might need to really reconsider some of those goals just because of the way things have changed right now. So if your goal was to visit, to go to the theater every week, you'd obviously have to change that. So it's a good opportunity for that.
Yeah, I think that's great. Well, and that's one of my goals because I pulled out my Power Sheets when you brought this up before we started recording. And one of my goals was around travel. So that didn't get to happen.
Right.
And isn't going to in the rest of the year. So that one has to get put to the side until some point in the future. But many of the other ones are happening.
Great.
Yeah. And it's interesting, my word for the year was cultivate. Mm-hmm. And I have, one of my goal areas is about my home and sort of space and everything, but I didn't put anything, at least I didn't see it as I sort of glanced through here, about gardening, actually cultivating anything. But I actually did, and we're eating out of the garden.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. That is so nice. We have an herb garden, and so when Barry cooks with herbs, he's cooking from his garden, just little pots. Right. But I always say, ooh, this tastes hyper local. Is this from your garden? That parsley's amazing. No, but it's so true. I mean, they are amazing. Those herbs are amazing. So I'm sure it's vegetables, I'm assuming, that you're eating. Yes. Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah. So we had the first tomato, which was a cherry tomato, which I split 3 ways. So we could each have a bite.
Nice. Was it
each of us who was at dinner that night? Everybody
a tiny
else,
bite.
They're on their own.
Right. Was it delicious?
Oh my God, it was so good. It just tastes like summer.
Mm-hmm. Was it a little bit warm to the touch, or was it?
Yeah.
That's how I think of great cherry tomatoes, as being a little bit warm from the sunlight because you've just picked it off the plant. And I don't even know why I know that. Isn't that weird? Because we didn't have a garden growing up, but I think it was from my grandmother's house. That's all I can come up with. Perhaps I was stealing from neighbors. I don't know.
But yeah, so in a very short period of time, I'm going to have a lot of spaghetti squash. It went insane. And we have snow peas and that are going to be able to eat pretty soon. They're not quite ready, or there's not enough to like actually have for a meal. And the tomatoes are starting to get more ripe, and we already have eaten zucchini and lettuce and radishes and everything else is coming along. So it's very exciting, and I was happy that like I literally brought my word of the year to life.
Right. Yeah, cultivate was definitely the right word for the year. That's terrific.
Yeah.
That's so great. Well, good. So do you think you'll go through your power sheet, which is from a company called, what's it called? Cultivate something. Cultivate Your Life?
I think that's right.
Nope. Cultivate What Matters. That's what it is. Are you going to go through there and do your mid-year goals?
I am. I want to, and I've been thinking about revisiting it, but hadn't gotten so far as to even pulling it out of the closet yet.
It's been on my task list for a solid month. To do that, and I didn't do it till yesterday.
Well, I haven't even gotten that far as to put it on my task list. It just pops into my head periodically. It's like, it'd be worth looking at that again. But yeah, so I'm going to re-look at it. And I did mine a little bit differently, which we may or may not have talked about in a previous podcast. But I sort of, instead of having... it's set up that you have for 2020, you can set up to 8 goals. And instead of specific goals for those sections, I set it up as sort of areas of my life. And then like what my desire or intention was for that area of my life. And then broke those down into mini goals and tasks and actions to take and stuff. So I will definitely be revisiting all of those. And I think that they all are still apply, except for, maybe the travel one. Because we're not even, our stay-at-home order requests that we not go more than 50 miles away from home. So, and, things are just kind of starting to open up around here. So, there's not a whole lot of adventuring that I can do right now.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's, that's good, because then you can stay safe.
Although, oh my God, I totally forgot about this. Thanks to the Facebook advertising algorithms, there's this, I'm going to open it up because I can't remember what it's called. But it's an app that it's called My Virtual Journey, and you can pick different missions, and one of the missions is to walk the Camino as a virtual challenge.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so you can use, whatever movement tracker you use. I have it set up to just take the info from my Apple Watch, and then it moves you on the map.
Based on how much movement you've done?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
You can, when you look at the map, it's connected to Google, and so you can look at the Google Street View for wherever you're at on the map.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it's really great. And then periodically they send you postcards from a different city, or like to tell you a little bit of history or something like that. So it's a fun thing, but I keep forgetting about it. So I have a friend and former client who is also doing it. It was funny. She emailed me and said, "Have you seen this? What do you think? Should we do it?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm already signed up." Like 3 people sent it to me. But So I was saying with her that it would be useful for me to actually set a goal with it, because this is the more traditional route instead of the one that I was actually going to do. And it's 480 miles. So I need to decide how long I'm going to take to walk 480 miles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, virtually.
Yeah. Virtually. I mean, no,
Right.
I will literally be walking those miles. I just will not be
Oh, right.
doing them through Spain.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. And when
Yeah.
you say that they send you postcards, are these electronic postcards or are these real
Yeah.
in the mail? Okay.
Yeah, it's an electronic postcard.
That's neat.
So it just
It's-
comes in the email, in your email.
Oh, that's great. It's funny because right before we sat down to record, I got an email from a friend with she wrote it to a group of us, and she was just updating what she's been up to. And she said, I'm virtually walking across Missouri, and I'm also walking the Camino de Santiago. So she must be doing the same. What's the app or the program called?
It's called. Please
can-
hold.
You could just put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
You can tell me later. But that sounds like that's fun. I might have to. Well, I might explore that, but I might have a very small goal.
Well, there's different routes that you can do. You can set up your own, but it's kind of fun to do one of them, one of the ones that exists. Oh, wait, I can find it this way. Your virtual journey.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So you are able to do a little bit with your exploration goal.
Right. That's
Thanks to this.
that's what made
Yeah.
me think of it, was like, hey, wait a minute. I can actually do this. It just needs to be a little bit virtual.
Right. That's excellent.
Yeah. So I'll be just revisiting everything and freshening up my goals and thinking about how I want to move through the last, 5.5 months of
Right.
the year.
Yeah, and we still have uncertainties about what the next 5.5 months or beyond are going to bring. So it's hard to set. It's interesting because it's hard to set the kind of goals we were accustomed to setting. Walk the Camino.
Right.
Yeah, but we now are. I feel like I'm enough accustomed to this uncertainty and what I am able to do that I can create some goals that are consistent with the current reality. And I think anybody who is inspired to do this, they can take a look at the goals they set early in the year, or perhaps they didn't set any, and now is the time to do it. And it's like this refresh, this new start that we get in this weird year. And I'll just, we can put a link to our goal setting kit in case that's helpful to folks, because it's certainly not a beginning of the year thing. It can be any time. The good enough goal setting.
Yes. I was like, wait, no, it's totally structured for 2020. I thought you were talking about power sheets.
Oh, yeah, sorry, you're right. No, I meant good enough goal setting. But
Yes,
really,
good enough goal setting is for any time.
but Power Sheets actually has an undated version. 6 months.
Oh, do they?
They have an undated 6-month version.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, so that could work out. I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well.
Yeah. But I think it's also useful to revisit. We do have an episode on good enough goal setting, but to consider how you set goals. And I think we're both big proponents of, getting clear on what you want. And while, especially for me, while setting, very specific goals can be useful in some situations, like my bigger goal setting, and I'm kind of doing finger quotes around that, is more, what's the word I want? It's more about intention. It's more about how I want to feel about something, and less about the specific tasks I'm going to do to get there.
Yeah, and I think right now, somehow that feels even more important, since there seems to be so sometimes things aren't within our control. So
Yeah.
setting actual steps can be harder, but we control our feelings a little bit more, perhaps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And just to be extra clear about that, like my bigger goal is set up that way, and then typically what I'll do is I'll choose, in the power sheet section, they call it a mini goal, but that's like, okay, what action can I take to get me closer to where I want to be? So I do get more granular, but for only looking into the very near future, I don't set those very specific goals that, take a year. Like I don't try to outline a year of tasks to achieve something, generally speaking.
Right. Yeah, and everyone does it differently. That's the beautiful thing, right? There's no perfect way to do it, and
exactly.
You do what works for you. But just having the awareness of, I think, just having the awareness of what I desire to do or be or feel in the nearest future is,
yes.
I think it's really beneficial.
Absolutely. Well, we want to hear from you, our listeners. Are you ready for a mid-year refresh? Are you looking at the goals you set and revisiting them, or are you interested in looking at the rest of the year with completely fresh eyes? You can let us know on social media. On Facebook and Instagram, we're at Getting to Good Enough. On Twitter, we're at GTG Enough. And you can always comment on the show notes at gettingtogoodenough.com or leave us a message at 413-424-GTGE. That's 4843. But for now, this is Shannon Wilkinson in Portland, Oregon.
And Janine Adams in St. Louis, Missouri.
And we hope that good enough is getting easier for you. Seems like we're always hitting our goal of having fun doing the podcast.
Yay! You're right.